I'm making this video, extremely unorthodox, random video, talking about panic attacks because I honestly feel like God wants me to. I happen to have a very severe panic attack today. I thought I was having a heart attack. That's what a panic attack is. You will feel like you're dying out of absolutely nowhere, and your mind will play tricks on you and tell you that you're having all these symptoms that are entirely in your head. So I was on the escalator. I thought I was having a heart attack, and I started crying and freaking out, thinking that I was going to hit my head, I was going to crack my skull open, and there was going to be no one around to help me. Yeah, I'm sorry if that's brutal, but that's what a panic attack is. If you have them, you 100% understand. So immediately what I do is I sit down and I try to bring myself into reality. So that's what I did. I sat down and I look at, the advice I got is to look at literal things. So I started bringing myself into reality. I'm fine. There's people around. If something happened to me, I'm sure somebody would help me. There are probably nice people around here who would help me, and everything is fine. And I even count down and I try to visualize numbers like 100, 99, 98. And then you'll realize that's exactly what happened to me. When you start counting, you just start thinking of literal things. You start to realize you're perfectly fine and everything was in your head and nothing was happening bad. And I sat down and I tried to intentionally breathe 4 breaths in, 7 breaths out. And I ended up being perfectly fine. But why did I make this video? I genuinely heard God telling me to make this video and let people know that you're not alone if you deal with this, and that you're seen. I 100% know. It's very hard to empathize with if you don't have panic attacks. Then we just sound crazy, right? And I'm sure I looked crazy to a few people because I ran down an escalator backwards and I sat down and started breathing deep and I was crying hysterically because that's what a panic attack is. It's out of nowhere. It tells you something bad is happening. Sometimes it'll tell me I'm having a brain aneurysm and I'm going to die. I'm going to pass out. I'm going to crack my skull open and then I'm just going to die there by myself. And they're horrible because you feel hopeless sometimes. And I just want to let you know, if you deal with them, I deal with them too. Don't think that there's something wrong with you. I've been dealing with panic attacks since I was 8 years old. From PTSD, you guys know, I told you I was abused physically and sexually as a child. And that's when they started. And they never really fully went away. And I just want to let you know, if you deal with them as well, sit down and ground yourself. Sit down immediately, take deep breaths, and start focusing on literal things. Literal things. There's a person here, there's a person there, there's a red cup in front of me. It'll pull you into reality. Now, if you're like somebody who's like, wait, maybe something is happening. Well, like me, I sometimes will go to the hospital. I went to the hospital today just to make sure everything was okay. And they reassured me I'm perfectly healthy, which I knew. The second you sit down and you start to calm down, you're like, okay, that was entirely in my head. But I did get a quick physical. They checked my blood pressure. They checked my heart. They checked they took my blood and they said, you're perfectly fine. That was a panic attack. They did ask me if I wanted medication. Absolutely not. No, I'm going to conquer this. If you deal with panic attacks too, we're going to conquer this. You're not going to deal with it forever. Just know that if you're dealing with it, I don't know. I feel so strongly I was supposed to make this video. So maybe there's one person I'm making this video for, or maybe there's 2 people. I don't care. I felt God telling me to make this video. And I also always film myself because it really helps. For the next time that I have a panic attack, I look back and I'm like, I got through that one. I got through that one. Everything was okay. So if you want to film yourself, that also helps, because if it happens again, you can look back at that footage and be like, oh, I was okay. Everything turned out okay, which is really helpful. So that's why I always film myself. But for some reason, God told me to post this today. And so I just went home and I just opened my Bible, and I didn't do much for the rest of the day. And so if you're that person that I'm supposed to make this video for, I love you. You're not in this alone. We're going to get through this, especially abuse victims or sexual abuse victims. I know we all deal with this, or a lot of us do, and everything's going to be okay. And if something genuinely happened or happens to you, there are going to be people around to help you. Don't worry, because that's always the first thing that hits me. It's like, you're going to die a bloody, horrible death. You're going to crack your skull open, and you're just going to die with nobody around you, all by yourself. And it's a lie from the pit of hell. You've got to speak to it. You've got to know how to handle these things, which is grounding yourself. And we're going to get through this. We're going to get over it. And maybe one day I'll write a book about how I conquered panic attacks so I can help you guys. But anyways, if you're the person I was supposed to make this video for, this is for you. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.